early. I had just gotten married and came, so immediately from the honeymoon, my very next morning, I was going to start my residency at Shands Hospital in Gainesville. So I recall waking up early, trying to figure out how to find 17th Street so I could get to Gainesville, and just being excited about my new life and my role as a wife and just our business in working and living in Ocala. As I would be driving, sometimes I would giggle in the car and think about, who's this guy I married? And my really motive was to serve the community, to make everyone proud, to be a transformational mayor. And I wanted to win this race and run a race, doing it really on values and ideas and a platform, not on fear-mongering and attacks. And people said to me, Manel, you're gonna get 100 votes by playing nice. You've gotta hit the nuclear button. And I just couldn't. It was really, antithetical to who I am and what I represent and what I believe in and the message that I want to have. And I'm thankful because people did try to get me to go in that direction. And I really, again, I resisted and I said, no, this is not the type of campaign that I wanted to be associated with. And thankfully, and I think what did come out, and many people would say, is she does have a track record. She has served the community. It's not like an unknown. It's not someone that has lived here for 3 years, 7 years. It's not someone that has just been dormant and hasn't done anything. And I'm grateful for all those opportunities that I've had to serve because I've grown right along as I have served. I loved canvassing, and I actually had a team that I would say to them, let's go canvass. What area am I going to cover today? Versus having a campaign manager that's saying, we need to get you out there, you need to hit the door. I loved it. It was one of my favorite parts. And another win, I would say, are so many great people in the city. Strangers that became friends, stories that were revealed, memories. Riyadh for many years, because people have even shared with me, Manel, why don't you run? When are you going to run for office? Why haven't you ran? And this has probably been for more than a decade. And for a long time, Riyadh had zero interest in me running, and he would even dissuade me, like, why do you want to run? It's a headache. You have so much that you can do. And there's a lot of people that feel that way. Why put yourself out there and become a target? And then when I did make the decision, actually he came home one day prior to the campaign, prior to this whole election cycle, and said to me, it's almost as if he had his own revelation. And he said, if you decide you want to run, I will support you. And I know it's going to be tough. I know that you're going to have to deal with certain attacks, but I will support you. And he was amazing. He really was. And I think we grew closer during the campaign. He also had a great feeling about it, just from what he was hearing and the sense that he was getting. And then the children were excellent. They were very supportive, checking in. My daughter Noelle, who lives in New York, works in New York, was working from here during that time period. So she actually was a huge help, especially on the weekends. She would canvass with us. And then the other kids would just weigh in on different ideas, especially in the beginning when we were selecting our colors for the campaign and the messaging. So they all contributed to that, but yeah, just very positive. Another candidate said, I have a troop, you have an army. And we had young people that helped. We had, people my age that were helping, business individuals. So it was really nice. And yes, the world is changing. And it's beautiful that we can actually interact and gain insight and knowledge from the younger generation, rather than thinking that, they're still not ready, they don't understand what life is all about. They most absolutely do, because the way we communicate is completely different. And I think even when we were canvassing, we would be surprised by some of the individuals that we would run into and some of the stories that they would share. There was one that we captured on, with our cell phone, because it was a woman that actually had taped my flyer to her door, which is so unusual to see your flyer taped to somebody's door. And even though she had her little no solicitation sign, and we knocked on the door, she started just jumping. It was cute. It was a beautiful moment. And really, again, just lots of nice feelings. When I would be downtown, people that would recognize me and know that I was running and let me know that they were supporting me. So it was really great. When you put yourself out as a candidate, there's going to be one person that's going to win and one person is not going to take that office. However, sometimes when you don't win, you actually do win. And I really felt that so much. And I think people have said to me, your campaign's not over. And it's revealing itself still. We felt we were going to win. We had this feeling, this sense about the campaign. It was beautiful. People were calling consistently. And we really ran our campaign very professionally, like a real campaign with a campaign office, with staff, with canvassers. It was specific to the work that we were doing and the message that we wanted to share. And that message was simple. It was really to represent everyone. I think people miss what it's like to be an other or to be marginalized. And it happens. And if you felt it, you understand it, you're more sensitive to it. And that's something you want to try to overcome in your service. And truly, it wasn't even people that I was super close to. And it just surprised me how they were willing to invest so much time and energy and excitement and consistently. And even when I would say things like, I'm going to reimburse you for gas, I'm like, no, this is my contribution to your campaign. A friend called to tell me that he had seen yard signs that someone had designed that were basically almost like a prohibition symbol with my name on it. And later a friend of mine said to me, you notice it's not your full name, it's just Manal. It's like, stop that woman. But truthfully, they knew they had a strong contender. And sadly, rather than feeling like, hey, we have a real choice in the election, it was more about demonizing me. And really just felt that it was going to be a great day. So we were feeling enthusiastic and anticipating to win. And I did canvass till the very end. So if we base it on work and effort, I think I would have won. If that was the deciding factor, not votes, but who worked the hardest, then I think it would have been a slam dunk. But when it was 7 o'clock and I was heading to the Hilton, and I had brought an outfit to change into, but I was exhausted, to be honest with you. And my daughters were there, and my granddaughter was there. Riyadh came, we had our group of friends. There was such a calmness. And I recall saying it over and over again, I believe in God's will. Like, if this was meant for me to win, then I will win, but I'm definitely going to put the effort in. And if it's not meant, I will accept the results. Maybe it's a protective mechanism. It just sort of was a numbness. There was like a numbness around me at that moment. And yet, I was fortunate because I had my family around me and the beautiful granddaughter right there in my arms. And then that night I just went to sleep. Some of the things that I loved is even someone said, I want to congratulate you. You received more than a third of the votes. A third of Ocala is listening. So that was something that was said to me immediately after the election. I would say to her that it's so important to really step into yourself and to give back. Because it's also the meaning that we give to things in life. I knew that over and over again, people kept telling me, Manal, you have so much courage. Now, you shouldn't have to have that much courage to run for political office. But if there was the one word that kept coming up over and over again, it was that. But what I felt was that it was important for me to step into that role, to try. And so I would say to my daughter, to my granddaughter, that if you have the desire to serve your community at a level where you're an elected official, then do it. Don't be afraid and don't let people suppress your desire to lead. But again, I'm not done serving the community. I don't have to be an elected official to serve. And God bless so many of the people in the city, because even though, again, I don't have the role or the title of mayor, I sure do feel a whole lot of respect from a lot of people, and that I get included in their events and asked to speak and to present at their events and to almost serve in that role. sometimes you don't know the impact that you've made or the full picture of what it meant to have gone through this exercise of running for political office. But all in all, there are no regrets. I'm happy that I had this opportunity. It was a special period of time. It was high energy. And again, Louis, meeting you was one of my magical moments, and I mean that with all sincerity. I won from the insight that I gained, the many lessons that I learned about the city, because I had definitely I grew so much during that time period. I think it was an 11-week time period. And I had a chance to visit parts of the city that I don't normally on a routinely, daily or weekly would venture to go there, and the conversations that would come up. So definitely there were many wins in just connecting with the city and connecting with the citizens and the community. And it was interesting, different people would pop up at different times, people that were concerned about issues or people that just wanted to support the campaign. And that was what was really encouraging, is that on a regular basis, on a daily basis, there was new energy, new activity. It was almost like you would wake up and say, I wonder what fun surprises are going to happen today. And they were consistent, so it was really nice. And what's interesting now that the election has passed, I recall getting a text message from a friend, and it was about a woman that won mayor in Portland, Maine. She was Muslim, she wears the hijab, and I think the headline was 90% white community. And her message to me was, there's still hope, your dream could still come true. So it's nice, and there's been more Muslim women that have won and are serving all across the country, which is beautiful.